not necessarily just about finishing now, it's about, can I get to Ironman World Championships as somebody who's only been doing this sport for 8 months with no background in any of the disciplines. So now we're here in Mossel Bay, ready to take on my second IRONMAN 70.3 race. So last year I signed up to do an Ironman with 2 strangers, realised very quickly that I couldn't swim more than 25 metres, I couldn't ride a road bike, and I was pretty mediocre at running. That said, I enjoyed the process of training for an event, and I did that event in July in Luxembourg. I enjoyed the process, and I've recently moved out to South Africa and decided it was time to take on the challenge again, but this time really see where I could push myself. So if you saw my last video about my last race, you'll be wondering what's changed. And what's changed is I've put not only time, but significant investment into kit, because I've realized if you're serious about this sport, the kit does actually matter. So I invested in a TT bike. I went for the Factor Slick TT bike with profile design extensions. Super happy with it. And it's a little bit shaky being on the TT bars, especially when there's wind coming through, which there is a lot of out here. However, I feel like it definitely allows me to put more power out and makes me feel better going into the run. A few months ago, I took on Jamie Riddle, who's a South African pro Ironman athlete, and I felt like I was in pretty good hands because he knows the roads here, he knows the courses out here, so given I'm doing all 3 South African Ironman, I thought why not get a local to coach me? And in terms of the last few months, it's been pretty full on. So I've been doing 12 to 15 hour training weeks. I've been focusing in particular on the swim and the bike element because I was pretty terrible at swimming, and I felt like with the bike, that's where I can make up a chunk of the time, and my run was kind of okay to fight through. So I didn't grow up swimming, which was my main concern coming to any South African race, let alone Mossel Bay. And I've been swimming recently at Clifton in Cape Town, and the water is freezing. Everybody's telling me Mossel Bay is not like that, Mossel Bay is not like that. So I gave it a quick Google. Turns out Mossel Bay is the home of shark cage diving, which put me on edge a little bit. So the few days building up to the race, I've been a little worried about what's kind of in the ocean where I'm going to be swimming. But that said, I got out a couple of times post arriving, and it put my nerves at ease a little bit. So the great thing about an Ironman event is that everything is cookie cutter from race to race to race in terms of preparation required. So the day prior to the race, you drop off your gear. The day prior to that, you do the registration. So once you've packed all the bags, you take the bags and the bike on the Saturday prior to the race, and you just have to make sure that you put absolutely everything you need in there. You do get a chance to come back on race morning, but to be honest, you want to kind of not have in your mind, have I forgot something, have I not, and just make sure everything's done the day before the race. But going through there, seeing all the bikes, again, in training for this, I had like a pretty good bike, or one of the best bikes in my eyes with the people I was training with. That said, you come to these races and there's crazy TT bikes, crazy setups that you've never seen before. And my bike was stacked up next to them and was ready to go.
I love your bike, sir. The bike for the sir.
Strap this to someone else, it's a little bit faster. So for this race, there was a massive element that felt like I have done this before. which was a great feeling because the first time in Luxembourg, I was overwhelmed by every single aspect every day. So I didn't really have that this time. That said, I wasn't just going to finish the race. I knew before the race this time that I was 100% going to finish, where last time in Luxembourg, it was a case of just getting over the line, and I was happy with the time that I did it in the end. But things are different now. I've invested way more time, way more money into this whole process, and I'm pretty serious about my ambitions in the sport. The nerves were still there because I have much higher expectations of myself now of what I can achieve in triathlon.
I want you to think about what is your definition of success. Because so many people.
So I'm at the swim start. I was unsure which pen to seed myself in because it's self-seeding at this race, but decided to go a little bit ambitious on what I know I can do and put myself in the 30-minute pen. And at that point, you're trapped in, you can't get out, it's go time. So the swim started and it was very choppy, but decided to just do my own thing. Followed the turn boys and then the sighting boys as close as I could, but I was being pushed to the shore a little bit. So just swam in what I thought was a straight line and then had to just correct myself at the end to make sure I made it round the final turn buoy and got out the water in a time of 32 minutes, which super impressed with because my swims in the pool are probably more towards 35 to 38. Current carried me a little bit and just put in a good performance today. So generally quite happy with how that went, although in the lead up, that was the thing that I was the most nervous about. Going into transition, the transition went very, very smoothly.
That was brutal. 30-minute swim.
This is where things got a bit interesting. You leave the bike course in Mossel Bay, you go straight to an incline. I've been told, do not get out the saddle and start climbing by Jamie Riddle. And I listened to him, and then all of a sudden, we went down the first hill and the weather turned and it started raining. And for the next hour, it rained the whole time. It was freezing and the roads were very wet and a little bit bobbly. So in the TT position, because it was my first time, was a little bit sketchy, but made it work. Felt pretty strong during the bike. It was very much rolling hills until you get to a U-turn and you come back up. On the way back up, there was a hill that felt like it went on for the best part of 10K. Finished up the bike and I was pretty happy with my bike time. Came in at 2:50. The run here is called rolling, but in actual fact, it's somewhat hilly. So you probably got 4 or 5 different hills that you have to go up and down, various different short turns. You run down a boardwalk at one point, and it was really difficult to try and manage a pace. And the run was, again, probably the hardest discipline within the actual race. Even though in training it's my strongest, and naturally I'm probably I'm definitely a stronger runner than I am cyclist or swimmer. But when it comes to that run off the bike, it's always spicy at the end of the race, especially with the hills.
This is the official theme song of DJ Bailey with Mr. Travel. Beautiful sunshine on a super Sunday. Almost 3,000 athletes Thank you, Jacob. Thank you for being here in South Africa. Thank you for doing our race. It's not supposed to be easy. It was easy to play football. CUP, thank you, Jacob.
It's not necessarily just about finishing now, it's about, can I get to Ironman World Championships? So the thing with any Ironman race, you can't wear headphones. And as somebody who trains swim, bike and run always with headphones, it's a completely different environment on race day. That said, the crowd came out in full force in Mossel Bay, and from maybe the first 5K of the 7K run route, it was packed with support, playing music, cheering, and the vibes were just pretty good, and it carried me through definitely the last 3 or 4K of the run as I started to struggle a little bit. So today I crossed the line 16th in my age group and 64th overall, which is pretty crazy considering that I couldn't swim, I couldn't ride a bike, I was a bang average runner, and it's only been 8 months. And what it shows is all of the hours that I put in, all of the investment that I put in really does pay off when you fully commit to something. And there is an element of natural ability when it comes to any sort of sport. That said, I really do feel that hard work does pay dividends. And today showed that I really can compete if I carry on committing to this sport. I'm probably only 10% off where I need to be, and we're only 8 months in. So that's the race done. I'm gonna take a week off and then it's straight back into training, because in April, we've got Ironman South Africa in Nelson Mandela Bay, Port Elizabeth. And it's my first time taking on the full distance, and we're gonna be doing it in sub 10 hours, I hope.